The Australian Grand Prix was action-packed to say the least. But there was one standout moment that caught everyone's eye, and fans and drivers can't seem to stop talking about it. Yes, we're talking about that red flag restart in lap 56, because what a mess that was. And according to fans and drivers, there's only one party to blame for it apart from the FIA, and that party is Pirelli. So of course the drivers have taken their time during press moments to let Pirelli know exactly what they're thinking about the current tyres. In today's video, we'll discuss the driver complaints about the Pirelli tyres and the new and upcoming changes to the qualifying and weekend format in Baku and Imola. Let's get into it. So the people criticising Formula 1 drivers for the accidents during the last standing restart of the Australian Grand Prix, according to Lando Norris, don't know what's going on inside the car. Norris blamed the circumstances that led to the third red flag on a combination of late standing restart and the poor grip of Pirelli rubber that isn't a tyre that feels like it should be on a Formula 1 car. After the restart, Carlos Sainz sent Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin spinning. Then Pierre Gasly spun out and clouded with his Alpine teammate Esteban Ocon, soon after rejoining the track. Logan Sargent, driving for Williams, also locked up and rear-ended Nick de Vries's AlphaTauri, sending both into the gravel and out of the race. Nothing against them, but they don't know what's going on inside the car, said Norris when asked about criticisms of the drivers who caused the incidents. We have a soft tyre on that's 65 degrees Celsius, and I can't describe how little grip there is on track. 65°C is not a bad temperature, but the tyre doesn't work, and on this surface, with this track temp, I can't describe how the grip is. That's why you see everyone going straight on at turn 1 and locking up. It's 65°C and a soft tyre, and it provides literally no grip, so you have to brake so early, which causes chaos and incidents. But if the tyres felt like they gave us some grip, you'd be able to see a good race without chaos and some clumsiness and things like that. It's just difficult. I wouldn't say it's just clumsy from everyone, and you're racing and there's no grip. Simple as that. We need a tyre that gives us more grip, and actually a tyre that feels like it should be on a Formula 1 car, at the top of motorsport, and at the moment, on a day like today, it feels pretty terrible. Norris, who said immediately after the race, is correct that tyres do not produce sufficient grip if they are not completely warmed up, which includes not only the surface temperature, but also the temperature within the compound, which must increase for it to properly switch on. That is the moment at which the tyre is performing as predicted and chemically gripping the track as planned. Yet there were other variables that led to this issue. The track temperature had fallen by roughly 13 degrees Celsius since the race began, making it more difficult to warm up the tyres. With the chilly temperatures, the smooth track surface created in 2022 that made tyre warm-up a battle all weekend, and only having the formation lap behind the safety car to get the tyres going, it seemed predictable that many would struggle for grip at the restart. When this was combined with the all-or-nothing aspect of what was now basically a 2-lap race, there was always an increased risk of catastrophes. As a result, Norris questioned the reason and need of the late red flag and restart. He claimed that the pause wasn't necessary, but said that he had limited vision of the accident seen from the cockpit. According to the FIA, the red flag was raised due to wheel debris from Kevin Magnussen's incident. I don't feel that the second red flag was needed, said Norris. It felt like it was just 4 laps to go, and they don't want to finish under safety car. It just caused a bad end to the race. If we just finished under safety car, that would have been more straightforward. So a bit annoying from that side, but I guess we got a bit lucky and got a position on Gasly. But also, it could have been a lot worse. Norris, who avoided the collisions at the final restart, feels it's too risky to have such a restart that may destroy the effort drivers have put in over the course of the race. He urged the FIA to reconsider the regulations, although he did not advocate for comprehensive modifications. The whole point of red flagging it feels like, was just to put on a show, said Norris. I feel like I could have been so unlucky for no reason. I feel like I easily could have crashed with Nico Hülkenberg at the end, because you've got people off and suddenly swerving and things like that. We come all the way to Australia, but it's so much hard work. Drive 55, 56 laps perfectly, and because they try to put on a show, you just get unlucky and everything can get taken away from you all of a sudden. That side of it just needs a small rethink. I don't think it needs a change, just a small rethink. Are they good enough for the drivers to perform in their cars? Or should Formula 1 reconsider their deal with current tyre provider Pirelli? Let us know in the comments down below. If the gripless tyres in Australia weren't enough, Pirelli has just revealed the tyres that will be used for the Grand Prix in Baku, Miami and Imola. The C5 tyre, the softest compound available, will be seen in action for the first time this year. This tyre will be used at both Baku and Imola. C3s, C4s and C5s will be driven in Azerbaijan and Italy, while C2s to C4s will be driven in the United States. Let's hope the drivers can keep these tyres in their windows. So what about those qualifying and weekend format changes? Well, for the first time, a sprint race will be held at the Baku City Circuit. The format of the weekend is still to be fully determined. It could be a weekend with the inclusion of an additional qualifying session, as this is the new format being proposed. The sprint race will become more self-contained because of this. There'll be qualifying on Friday, which determines the starting order for the race on Sunday. On Saturday, a shortened qualifying session, containing Q1, Q2 and Q3, will be held to decide how the sprint race would begin. Pirelli said that the new Formula 1 qualifying format, which we'll get to in a second, would be trialled at Imola, and perhaps the new weekend format including this new qualifying format in Baku, with a new structure allegedly providing a stronger challenge for the drivers. So about that qualifying format, Pirelli has now officially confirmed that the new qualifying format will be trialled in Imola, as had been speculated for some time. Qualifying now offers a free choice of tyres, but this will change. Drivers will have to qualify on the hard tyre in Q1, they'll have to qualify on the medium tyre in Q2, and the soft tyre will be available in Q3, giving every team the same amount of chance to go through, leaving it fully up to the drivers and their cars to set the grid. In addition to these modifications, Pirelli confirmed, as previously reported, that the number of tyre sets that may be utilised would be reduced from 13 to 11. The same is true for the previously disclosed rain tyres that do not need tyre warmers. Are you excited for these changes? Will this even out the field? Or is it just a gimmick invented to try and create more show for the fans? Just like Norris said about the last lap shootout in Australia. As said earlier, the full weekend structure of the sprint race may potentially change starting with the following Grand Prix in Baku. This would need 2 different qualifying sessions, one for the sprint race and one for the Sunday event. Thus 2 qualifying sessions, 2 races and just 1 practice session in one weekend. Several drivers are complaining about the new adjustments. Max Verstappen told the press conference last week, "It's the same for everyone, but I don't think we need to actually do these kinds of things in qualifying. I don't really see the benefit of it. It's better if we make sure that all the cars are close to each other and more competitive instead of spicing things up in that way, which I think is probably for the show." Teammate Sergio Perez is also critical. "I think we don't need that when you see the qualifying we had in Bahrain, how close everything was. We do not really need to change anything." The qualifying format will be tested again later in the season. When this will be is not yet known. So what are your thoughts on the proposed changes? Are you happy about the changes made to qualifying? Will this indeed bring more spectacle and perhaps more changes for the drivers further down the grid? Will we have to wait and see in Baku and Imola what the results of the changes are? The drivers don't seem so happy about it, but on the other hand, which changes do they indeed like over recent years? Will this make a difference for the starting order? And will it make the Friday and Saturday more enjoyable to watch? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll keep an eye out for the changes in the coming races, as we're excited to see the effect of it. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.